So a couple weeks ago, I made another impulsive book buying decision. I seem to not be capable of not doing that on an unfortunately regular basis. I decided to get the first three books from Broken Binding for Malazan Book of the Fallen. I'm so excited to have these books, despite the fact that this is not the entire series. In fact, Malazan, I believe, is not a complete universe yet. We have the core 10 books, I think, for Malazan, the Book of the Fallen, but I believe there's other like prequel and sequel series, and I think some of those are not complete yet. I also know some of the books, I believe, have been published by another author, so there's still a lot to go. Even from Broken Binding, there is also books 4 through 6, which are currently out of stock and I can't get a hold of at the current moment, that I also hope to eventually get. But for right now, I do in fact now own the first three books of what is considered one of the most challenging but also rewarding fantasy series out there. Oh, these books are heavy. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love the art on these pages. Absolutely stunning. And I'm just really pleased with this purchase. To be completely honest, I really debated whether or not to get these because I spent a little over $200 for three books from a 10-book main series that Broken Binding hasn't even published all 10 books in. Only 6 of them are currently out as hardback, and books 4 through 6, like I said, are out of stock. So why would I make this choice? I have this rule, which is called the 24-hour rule. I definitely got it from somewhere else, but my rule is that if I want to buy anything over $100, I have to wait at least 24 hours to think about the decision. And I looked at the price of these and I was like, whew, over $200. I want them, but no. And I did that for over a month, probably close to 2 months of just going back and forth and back and forth. Do I want them? Do I not want them? Do I want them? Do I not want them? And honestly, given the fact that I just kept thinking about these books and just couldn't get my mind off of them, kept going back to Broken Binding's website to see, are they still in stock? Are they still in stock? Do I still have time to make a decision? It really just kept coming back to that. And I think ultimately I was reminded of an event that occurred earlier in my life while I was abroad during my college years. Oh, goodness, so much of this video is just like a representation of my privilege. I acknowledge that. But while I was in college, I was abroad in France, and I remember walking on my way to school. I walked past this really cute shop that had this red, gorgeous coat. It was a red, black polka dot trench coat that was gorgeous and it was out on display. I'm not a big polka dot person, and yet this coat caught my attention. And for over 2 months, I would pass by the store and I would see it on the primary mannequin right in the window and think, I should get that. I should get that. I should get that. And just keep walking past. And I remember the day I walked past the store and the coat was gone. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, shoot. I passed up that opportunity. It was like 80 euros. It honestly was probably a really good deal. It was 80 euros, and I just thought that I really needed to save that money. But it has been now over 7 years since the red polka dot coat story, and I still think about it sometimes. And it's not because I regret it. I think about it in relation to how I want to make buying decisions in the future. I want to be careful with how I spend my money. I want to spend my money on things that I'm going to care about. But I also don't want to be so frugal that I miss out on purchases that haunt me. I don't want to progress in my life and get to the end and have a hoard of cash that I could have spent on things that would have mattered to me, whether that be donations or book purchases or coats or whatever I think I would like to have or I would like to give. I don't want to hoard my money. I want to be responsible with it, but I also want to make sure that I'm enjoying life. And so while I think genuinely the red coat isn't something that I necessarily needed to have, the fact that it stayed in my mind really kind of demonstrated for me that if I can't stop thinking about something, I shouldn't just wait for it to go out of stock or disappear from the store or whatever. If I can afford it and I want it and I've given myself the time to truly think it over, then I should probably just go get it. And that's what I did with Book of Malazan, because I just, for over a month, kept thinking about this series. I saw that books 4 through 6 went out of stock, and I was like, at some point, these first three books are also going to be out of stock. And I'm going to regret not buying them. So now I have them. I'm so excited that they're on my shelf. I think this video is really just me reminding you as well as myself that it's okay to splurge on things that you love. And as long as you've really thought it through and made sure that you're not dooming yourself with that financial decision, it's okay to buy things that you like, buy things that you want, especially when you give yourself the time to really self-analyze, is this the path I want to take? I'm so pleased with these books. I also wanted to tell the story just briefly of how I got these today because it was a little stressful. Broken Binding sent me an email that said, your package has been delivered. And I was like, oh my goodness, really? So I ran outside and there were no books. And I was like, what do you mean? And honestly, they came faster than I thought. I placed the order on May 1st and I just got them today, May 14th. So it took 2 weeks, but it also only took 2 weeks to ship from the UK all the way to the US and further into the US. So I was actually pretty impressed with how fast these got here, but they weren't on the porch. And I was like, so I immediately emailed Broken Binding. I was like, I was at the house. The second I got the notification that they had been delivered, I ran outside and they're not there. I don't know what to do. I'm like searching all through like their recommendations of what to do if your order is not delivered. And then it was like, double check your shipping address. And I was like, I know it's right. I know it's right. And I look at it. Yeah, I totally put my neighbor's address from across the street. And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I made such a newbie mistake. So I'm running out the front door to cross the street to my neighbors, and I see their neighbor come out her front door, pick up a box with the broken binding emblem on it, look at it confused, and she's actually not at the house that I placed the order for these books. It's the other neighbor's house, and I was like, "Hi, is that by chance the broken binding? Does it have my name on it?" She's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh my god." So it honestly was probably about just like 10 minutes of stress before I got that. They came beautifully. I really like these editions, but what a way to receive these books, goodness gracious. Before I conclude this video, I just kind of want to show off each of these books. Here is book one. I think it's really beautiful. I spent a little over $200 for these 3 books, and so they're probably some of the most expensive books I own, and they're not necessarily the most beautiful. I'm going to be honest about that. The inside of the dust jacket is not particularly special at all. It's just white. I definitely have book jackets that have like reversibility and are really beautiful on the inside. It's okay that that one's not, just something to keep in mind. The inside cover is also really gorgeous. But again, I've had plenty of books that have foiling and other beautiful aspects. I still think this is absolutely fabulous. I did not open these 3 books from their packaging and think, oh, I've made a mistake. Nope, I'm still satisfied with this. But that's just something to consider. Here's book 2. Again, I think these are just beautiful editions. I really, really like the art on the sides. They do not extend to the top and bottom. Again, I have plenty of series where that art also is extended to the top and bottom. So the fact that this one doesn't means that, like, again, these aren't the most beautiful special editions that I own. But I still think they're cool. I still think that's pretty dope. Just beautiful art. I also know that these books have art on the inside, not just with the end pages, but there is also, I believe, yes, there is interior art as well, but these are black and white. That's not a bad thing at all. It's just the truth, and I've definitely gotten series that have full color art images on the inside. Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project special editions that I have are full color on the inside as well, which I really like, so that's something to consider. This is book 3. Again, the full color component or the lack thereof of what's on the inside of these books is something that I knew before I purchased these books. I'm still really satisfied with this purchase. Oh, just really cool cover. It's got an interesting texture with it, which I think is really cool. Beautiful full art pieces on the front and backs. So still really gorgeous. And again, I knew those facts going into buying these 3 books, and that's okay. My goodness, this 3rd book is massive. It is over 1,000 pages long. So if you're considering buying, keep those facts in mind with regards to what you're actually purchasing. I'm still really proud of this purchase decision. I'm still very pleased with it. But make sure that you know about these details before you go in to spending a ton of money. But if you want to, go for it. So that's my most recent crazy purchase. Book of Malazan, book 1, 2, and 3. And hopefully at some point, book 4, 5, and 6 will go back in stock, and I will also be purchasing those because I've lost my mind. And at some point, I do hope that Broken Binding completes at least the 10 main books in the Malazan core series. Keep reading what you love, keep buying what you love, and I will see you next time.